Birds are painting skies with song. Branches wake up stretching strong. Petals whisper as they fall. Spring is here and that's my call. Oh, the sun shines piercing through, chasing clouds to skies of blue. Laughter's drifting on the air. Spring begins so bright and fair. Fields dressed up in gold and green, every shade you've ever seen. Breezes blowing soft and light, turn the day from gray to bright. Oh, the sun shines piercing through, chasing clouds to skies of blue. Laughter's drifting on the air. Spring begins so bright and fair.
Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. I don't know. I am alternate juror, or as other people call me, AJ. As George says, just don't call me late to dinner. And that is correct. And good morning, Gabby. I'm not on mute. I saw your message and you made me check. I'm good, Flash fan. How are you? Other than tired and maybe hungry. Maybe. I'm better than I was. Better than I was Friday. Sorry. My weekend was weird. You're not hungry yet? Well, you'll get there. Don't you worry. Maybe you'll be hungry at the end of my story. But when you're sitting in your home, there's some noises that you never ever want to hear. And like obviously you would never want to hear anybody like breaking into your house because that would be scary. But one noise you don't ever want to hear in your house is that sounds like it's raining. You never want to hear the sound of rain inside your house when you look outside and it's sunny. So good morning, Christine. How are you doing? Hope you are doing well. As always, it is good to see you. So I was getting settled in with the granddaughter. Yeah. And getting stuff ready. And I had a load of laundry in the washer. And all of a sudden, Rue, she has satellite ears to begin with, but she perks up. And fortunately, I didn't have anything else on. I didn't have any other noise going. I didn't have TV on. I didn't have anything on. And I was like, what is that noise? And so I got up and I walked to the top of the stairs that go down to the basement. And our basement we're finishing it, but it's not finished yet. So concrete floor. I can hear water hitting that floor. Oh, and a lot of it. So I paused the washer because that's the only thing I have going. That's the only thing I'm like, what is happening right now? Run downstairs, try and follow where the noise is. It's in the room that my husband has been working on for the past year, getting a studio ready for me. I flip the light on in there and it is literally raining from the ceiling. I have standing water on the floor, water running down the walls, water coming out of the ceiling. It was raining in my house. So, obviously had to clean up a lot of water. And so I was not here because I had to take care of that. It was quite a mess. It's all done. It's all cleaned up. My husband, so thankful for him. He figured out, we have city water, but we don't have city sewer. So we have a septic tank. So we have clean outs along the way. And he went through those and we think a tree root maybe penetrated one of the pipes and was causing a blockage there. So bless his heart, he got it all done, got it all cleaned out. I got all the other stuff cleaned up, but so that started that. So that's why I wasn't here Friday afternoon. And then, yes, you have no idea, Flash fan, because it's only things that need finished down there is the carpet, which we have a friend of ours, or a friend of my husband. He owns a flooring store, whatever, and he got a huge order, like a full roll of carpet in that it had a stain or something in the middle of it, and he wasn't able to sell it. He asked us if we wanted it. We're like, absolutely, because we can pretty much do all the rooms in our house that we want carpet in with that roll. One drawback is it's light. I have dogs, so I'm trying to figure out that part. But thank goodness he has not had time to put carpet down there, because not only would the carpet have been ruined, but that's all got to get the carpet down there and then put the, the baseboards on the trim. All my stuff would have been down there. So, and right under where all that water was coming down. So it would have been all my stuff, all the carpet, everything would have been ruined. So nothing was, well, there's drywall damage, obviously, with water. So we're going to have to fix that. But yeah, I was so thankful. I have been wanting that done so, so long now. And I was so thankful that it's not done. I'm so thankful that it was good. That, yeah, whoever is playing Jumanji is in big trouble if I find out who that is. Hey, Bray. Good morning. That happened to you. The hose connected to my washer, which is on the third floor, exploded. Oh my gosh. While you were at work, I'm not sure how many hours passed before I got home, but I had so much water all the way to the basement. Ooh, you have my sympathies. I was here, fortunately, because a lot of times I will, like, I didn't do it today because I was too scared. But a lot of times, especially on Mondays, I will start a load of laundry, run to the grocery store, come back, put that in the dryer, so it's done. I was too scared to do that today. I had to wash all the towels that I had to use to clean everything up, but I was just too chicken. It's like, please don't do anything else. So then Friday, so I like, I'll stream Friday evening. I can do, we don't have a lot to do today. I can do it. And I was, kind of just over things, cleaning up water. And plus, granddaughters here, always enjoy spending time with her, but I'm so tired at the end of that day. And I look out the sliding glass door that goes into our backyard, and I see my youngest Dane, Hera. She's out there, and I'm like, what the heck does she have? And I thought maybe it was a square piece of bark off a tree or something. Then she kept kind of playing with it. And I was like, what is that? Did she steal something from inside? Because she does that. And she held it up, and I realized it was a wing of a bird. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go out there in the backyard. She's like, oh my gosh, are we going to play? And I'm like, no. I want what is in your mouth. And it was a wing for my crow. And don't ask me where the rest of the crow is. I have no idea. I did not look. I just took the wing out of her mouth, launched it over the fence, and was like, I hope that went far enough that you won't try to get it. And I was like, this day, it needs to end. It needs to end. And it was great. It was great. So she's not brought the rest of the crow in, thank goodness. I have no idea. I mean, that thing was clean, like right off the side of the crow. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Haley Mouse. How you doing? It's good to see you. I mean, we've had crows tease our Danes before um, by like dive bombing them. And I told the story before my original Dane, my very first one was teasing her, did not realize she could jump, and she did. And then she brought it into the house. So I got up one morning and I walked into the kitchen and I was like, there's a crow in my kitchen. And it was alive. It was alive. Um, so I put a box over it and I go to wake up my husband and I said, hey, there's a crow in the kitchen. He's like, what? I'm like, there's a crow in the kitchen. He's like, there's not a crow in the kitchen. I'm like, no, there's a crow in the kitchen. And so he gets up and he walks to the kitchen and he looks in the box and he goes, huh, there is a crow in the kitchen. I said, you thought I meant there what? You thought I was saying crow, but it was just a little teeny tiny blackbird, didn't you? He goes, yes. I said, I know what a crow looks like. And there was a crow in the kitchen. And yes, R.I.P. crow. One in the backyard. The one in the kitchen did not make it. Um, it was pretty injured, but it's the Flashman the dog door is a blessing and a curse at the same time. The cat, we don't have her anymore, but she used to bring stuff in all the time and was always alive. And she'd always bring it up to our room. And then she'd be like, here it is, and drop it. And then it would run away. So we would have to set traps to get the mice. Anything bigger than that is we just caught. But yeah, that's a blessing and a curse. So yeah, fun with pets. Yes, she took eating to another. I don't think she ate it. I have no idea. I think I don't know. I've not woke up with a rat in bed with me, but a mouse. She's like, wake up, here's dinner. So yeah, so my apologies for not being here Friday, but I would have rather been with you guys Friday than dealing with any of that. But it was a day. It was a day. And if you can't laugh at it, what can you do? Yes, pets are gifts, and pets and gifts is an annoyance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We have some stories with those, but I'll save them for another day. Uh, we are going to continue with Aileen Wuornos. I know the movie's called Monster. I can't call her that. I don't know why. Like, we've covered some really bad people on here, like Jose Ruiz, Monster, Shonda Vander Ark, Monster. Uh, those people, Timothy Ferguson, her son, Monster. Those people are monsters. I'm not saying she's innocent or I think she's innocent or anything like that. But yes, she was very, very broken. And I just can't say, because it's like you're making your thumbnails and you're making your titles and YouTube's like, here, use this word and this word, and then we'll demonetize you if you do, but use these words. And I just can't use monster. I just can't. I was not doing only what? Flash fan. I don't have an OnlyFans, so I couldn't do my OnlyFans. Yes, she did on live a lot of people. She confessed to it. But yeah, we've seen some stuff. And she just does not go into that category for me. Um, she didn't torture them, and they weren't children. That's Jose Ruiz, Shonda Vander Ark, Shonda. I really don't. Carmen corrects me all the time. I don't care what her name is. Monster, her son Timothy, although he fooled me. He did fool me. I learned all those guys monsters. Yeah. Gabby, I'm not answering that question. So we are on the defense case now. The last when I streamed Wednesday, that was the end of the state's presentation of their evidence. And Aileen is the first defense witness. I skipped through the directed verdict part because, spoiler alert, it didn't happen. So we're just going to go straight to Eileen's testimony. There really was some argument you couldn't hear very well, so I just went past it, and we're just going to go with Aileen taking the stand. As always, let me know how the sound is. We do have closed captionings today, so hey, winner, winner. All right, here we go. Thank you.
Please state your full name for the record.
Aileen Wuornos.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, if you can't hear me at any time, let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
And I would also ask him that you speak loudly enough for him to hear you.
Okay.
You might need to come a little closer to the microphone if you can. Okay. How old are you?
35.
Where are you from?
Troy, Michigan.
When did you leave home or come to Florida?
Around 14 years old.
Okay. Where had you been living just prior when you were 14 years old? You decided to come to Florida.
I was living in Troy, Michigan.
Okay, with your family?
Yes.
Why did you come to Florida?
Because when I was younger and I was living out in the streets, I was sleeping in the snow and all. It was too cold. And I had to come to Florida where it was warmer weather and seek warmer shelter.
Okay. How did you come to Florida?
I hitchhiked
And did you come with a friend or how did you come?
by myself.
How did you support yourself during those early years?
Well, I had a couple jobs for 75 cents an hour, but I basically was a prostitute.
Okay. Well, when did you start becoming a prostitute, Lee?
At the age of 16.
Okay. And how did that happen? How did you end up getting into that particular profession?
Well, when I was hitchhiking, a lot of guys would pick me up and they'd ask me if I wanted to make some money. And they'd give me like $60 or $100, and back in them days, you could get a $2 meal for, a cheap meal. So it was really good money. I was only making 75 cents an hour, and it was excellent money to help me because I was on the road. And so I took the offer, and that's where I became a hitchhiking prostitute.
She was 14. If any guy was asking her for anything, he was in the wrong. Wow. Dang. Hey, Nidawau. Also, hair and makeup that makes him look older back then. Yeah. Back then, I was trying to look a little older. Teenagers. We don't want to be teenagers. But yeah, it's a rough 35. She's had a rough life. She had a very, very rough life. Very rough life. But she said she was 14 when she came to Florida and hitchhiked. And those men, that's just wrong on their part.
Were you always in Florida doing that? Were you all?
No, I
always
was
in
all over the
Florida?
United States.
Okay. And how old were you when you finally came to Florida to settle? Do you remember?
Yes, I was about, well, I was 16 when I came to Florida.
Mhm.
But I mean, to settle, to just settle,
Mhm.
I was about 20.
Have you ever had any children?
Yes, I have one son.
And how old were you then?
He should be about 21
How
or
old were
22.
you when you had him?
Oh, I was 14.
Okay. And did you give the child up or what happened?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant. Let her answer the question.
My grandmother made me give the child up. My parents, my grandmother and grandfather.
You thought of your grandparents as your parents?
Yes, they adopted me.
How often over the last few years, let's start 4 or 5 years ago, how often would you go out during the week to hustle on the highways?
Just previously,
Let's say the last 4 or 5 years.
well, I would go out about anywhere from 3 to 7 days. It depended. It basically 4 days out of the week for sure.
Okay. And how many men would you say you have contact with during the course of a day?
I would say I had at least anywhere from 3 to 8. It depended. It varied, but definitely 3 a day at least. I mean, but it varied. I could have 6. I could have 8.
And not all of those contact, or were all of those contacts sexual?
Yes, those are sexual contact.
Okay. And did you have contacts with men on the road that weren't sexual? Or
Oh,
just a
yes.
ride?
Every day, at least 8 to 15, because I worked from exit to exit.
Okay, you explain that. You worked from exit to exit.
Well, I would leave Daytona, and there's times I'd spend the whole day on the road or the whole night, and I'd stay 2 or 3 days gone. And I just worked from one exit to the other. If a guy would pick me up and he wasn't interested, now a lot of guys asked me too. I didn't have to ask them.
Okay.
And if they were interested, fine, but if they weren't, I'd just get off the next exit and try again.
Okay. There came a time when you met Tyree Moore.
Mhm.
When was that?
1986, I believe.
And describe your relationship with Ty.
Well, I met her at the Zodiac, and from the very first day I met her, we fell head over heels with each other. And at the first year, we were pretty, kind of sexual, but the second year and the third year and on, we became like sisters, and I loved her very deeply. She loved me very deeply, but we didn't care about the sex part anymore. We just cared about each other. We were really, really close, like a knot, tied like a rope, like a knot on a rope.
Did your, I'm going to call it hustling because that's what you called it. Your hustling stop once you got into the relationship with Ty?
No, matter of fact, she quit her job at Al Carib. The first month that I was with her, she quit her job because I told her I make $150 a day or better, and you only make $150 a week. So if you want to quit, I'll support you. And she was all for it, and she continued to support me like a cheerleader. She wanted me out there. She told me all the time to go out and make more money.
Did you begin to go out more often? Did there come a time you started to go out more often?
The last year, she didn't like the trailer living, and she just constantly was telling me that I wasn't providing enough for her, that she wanted me to go out there and make more money because she wanted me to get a pressure cleaner business again and also get a house for her, everything else. So she said, I want you to go out there more often. She was pretty much like my pimp, it seemed like I was a white slave. I didn't realize it, but she'd tell me to go on out there. If I didn't, she was going to break up with me and find another girl that would definitely take care of her. And I loved her to the max, and I wasn't going to do that.
Did you talk about your experiences on the road with her?
Not really.
Why not?
She didn't want to hear it. She always told me not to talk to her about it. She didn't care what happened to me out there.
Did you try to talk to her about Richard Mallory?
Yeah, I did, but she didn't want to listen.
And during the times that you were with Ty, did she ever work?
Tyra worked when I first met her Al Carib, then she quit a month. I took care of her, and then she worked for a couple times at Separate Hills Motel, but she didn't get any money. That was for board, so I took care of her there. The only solid job she ever had, she was a laundry worker for 2 months, and that didn't work long, so forget that. The only solid job she had was Casa Del Mar the last year. She was making like about $300 every 2 weeks, or $277, something like that.
And was she working when you two split up?
No,
Had she quit her job?
she got fired.
Do you know why?
She beat up her boss.
So during these periods of time, were you supporting her?
Yes.
What were you spending your money on?
Oh, wow. Well, see, I wanted to save up for like a house and the pressure cleaner and everything else. And every time I came home with money, she always wanted to go to the mall, buy clothes. I never bought clothes for myself. I had a bra even that had Band-Aids on it and safety pin and everything. I mean, I never could. I just took care of her. I didn't really seem to want to care about myself. I just took care of her and bought her a lot of clothes and everything. And a lot of times she'd just go to bars, and we'd go to fancy restaurants and bars, and we blew it all in basically bars. I mean, $100, I saw her spend $200 in a quarter machine for stuffed animals in one night, just on quarters machine. She whatever she wanted, she got it. I loved her very much.
Did you like to drink too?
Yes, I drank.
Did you drink a lot?
Just as much as her. We always kept even. We always made sure we were drinking the same amount, so one wouldn't have more than the other. That's how close we were. We did everything together.
Would you drink when you were out on the road working?
Yeah, I drank about, I'd say anywhere from 2 to 6 beers, sometimes more, sometimes less.
Why would you drink out on the road?
Well, it was like my tranquilizer. I was shy and hard to sometimes. I was just shy. I was embarrassed about my body because I had a whipped. Well, I was just shy, and it was my tranquilizer. And plus, I was scared out there sometimes. I was nervous, but I knew that was my profession. It's the only thing I could do. So.
Did you accept rides with men of all ages?
Yes, I did. Yeah, but.
Go ahead.
But the young guys, I decided not to deal with because I've learned throughout time that they were always high, they were always stoned on or something, and they just seemed a little more like aggressive and like a violent attitude or something. I didn't trust them, and they always were stoned or something. And I don't do drugs, so.
Prior to meeting Richard Mallory, had you ever been hurt while you were out working on the road?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, twice I had mace guns, and they got those away from me and beat me up pretty bad and raped me. And
I was thinking the same thing, Flash fan. Why did we think that she did do drugs? Maybe she didn't. I know she drank. Drinking as much as they said she was drinking will age you just as much. So maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't do it. Because I can tell you, if I was in her position, I'd have to be drunk all the time. There would be no not being not drunk to do what she did.
And I had this bullfighter mace that a friend of mine gave me. And
Objection, Your Honor, to the question not specifying some kind of time frame or time reference.
Late practice.
Within the last 5 years,
No, Kelly, you do not have Adara-itis. I started at 11:30. Just trying to get, we've got about an hour or so stuff to do. So I did start a little early. Yeah, I did. Sorry. Adara-itis. That's hilarious.
starting with the first time within the last 5 years, we'll go back later. If you would tell the jury about any instances and where you were living when these occurred.
okay, I was living with Tyra and on
I'm not going to the club afterwards. Hey, whoops. What's up, Valhalla? How you doing? Glad you're here. Everything's been out of control. This chat got my stream limited monetization the other day. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Chat was hilarious. I don't even know that YouTube reads it. It was censoring everybody, so I don't know. What could they say? Life is good. How's the goats? Little Dottie. Ah, she's so cute. Yes, chat. Bad chat. They were talking about female body part, just one in particular, pretty much the whole time. Won't say what it was.
Oleander, and it was, you want the year or something?
If you recall the year.
Yes, it was in 86 and in 87 and 88.
Okay.
And also there was a couple of guys that raped me without any weapon, and I got hurt on that and everything.
When you were a young girl, just starting out, were you ever physically hurt while you were out on the road? And if you were, again, tell us where you were and how old you were.
Okay, I was hurt a couple of times. There was this guy in Jeffersonville, Indiana. He was a third-degree karate and judo instructor and a seventh grade school teacher, and I met him in a lounge, and he beat me up so bad you couldn't describe my face. And I got away from him. When I finally got help and the police arrived, they told me that he raped a police officer's daughter and disfigured her face so bad you couldn't describe it, and that he'd killed 2 teenagers, and they were in the backyard of his house buried in cement. That was lucky. I got away, and it took me I did a report and everything, but I don't know what happened. If they were just beating him up with flashlights and everything else and told me not to say anything. I was beat up. It took me about 2 months to recover. I still had yellow and purple and everything on my face.
Why didn't you?
What? That guy unalived 2 teenagers. Raped a police officer's daughter, and all they did was beat him up with flashlights? Why is he not in prison? I've been to Jeffersonville. Cartman used to live in Jeffersonville. Was there quite often. That story makes no sense. 0 sense. Yeah, it got weird. They just look the other way, walk away. I mean, come on, give me something to believe you. Just a little. Yes, she tells stories. Yes, thank you, Valhalla. Thank you, sir. This It got crazier a little faster than I thought it was going to. I don't I don't know. She's not doing well. Not doing well.
Quit working the roads after you've been hurt.
Because it was my only way I could, well, see, like I tried to get churches to help me, and they told me I had to be a part of the congregation, and they wouldn't help me. I tried to be a police officer when I was 20 years old. They told me I had to have $3,000 for tuition, and then they'd send me to some academy or something like that. I didn't have my GED. Then I tried to be a correctional officer here in Daytona, and they told me I had to have a car. I didn't have a car, I only had a bicycle. Then I tried the Salvation Army. They told me I can only crash at their place for one day out of every 364 years. You can only stay one night. And I tried and tried and tried to help myself. I took the aptitude barrier test for the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and I missed by 3 to 5 points every time. And I thought that would help me get off the road by just going into the government military field, and I didn't pass. That took me 2 years because you got to wait 6 months every time to take the aptitude battery test. And so the only thing I could do was be a prostitute and live off of it. I lived here and there and everywhere. But I had apartments at one time, but then I lost them and stuff. And
Do you remember catching a ride with Richard Mallory?
yes,
If you remember, when did you meet him?
it was at the end of November,
Of what year?
1989.
Where were you when you first met Richard Mallory?
I was on I-4 underneath an I-75 overpass.
Okay. And describe the first meeting that you had with him.
Well, I was coming from Fort Myers. I had spent a couple nights there. The second night, I left Fort Myers. I left about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And it took me about 6 rides to get to I-4. I finally arrived at I-4. It was raining. So I walked down the ramp to I-4. And it was raining. So I got underneath the bridge, and I was waiting for it to stop raining. And I was pretty much off into where the viaduct, I think you call her, with that slab of cement. I was right under there, away from the vehicles, because when they were passing, it was spraying rain all over me. So I was over there waiting for it to stop raining. Then it slowed down, and I decided I was going to walk toward the light. There was a big light out there. I was going to walk under it so they could tell, what if I was a girl or a guy or, what I was. And as I started to walk, a vehicle pulled over before I even got past the bridge, and then its lights came on and started backing toward me, and I didn't know if it was a bunch of guys in a car or what, but anyway, a vehicle passed, and its headlights went on in the vehicle, and I saw one head, so I felt all right, walked up to the car. I opened the door, and I said, did you stop for me? And he said, yeah. Are you going to Orlando? I said, no, I'm going to Daytona. He said, oh, wow, you're a lucky day, man, because I'm going all the way to Daytona. I said, oh, wow, this is great. So I got in the car, and we proceeded down the road.
Okay. Let me ask you something, Lee. At this time, the time that you met Richard Mallory, had you started carrying a gun?
I carried the gun 6 months before, at least, or 4 months. I can't really recall when, but it was in Rutland when I got the pistol.
Okay. And why were you carrying a gun?
For strictly protection.
If you will, describe your trip with Mr. Mallory from the time he picked you up until, let's say, Orlando.
Okay. All right, when he picked me up and now we're going down the road? Okay.
Just, if you will, were you having a conversation with him?
Yes, okay.
Tell us about that.
All right, so when he picked me up, he asked me, where I was going. I told him Daytona. I was real glad and everything. We started down the road. He asked me if I wanted to drink. He had some kind of, I didn't know what it was. I just saw tonic bottles, and then I thought it said Smirnoff. I'm not sure. And he asked me if I wanted to drink, and then I asked him, I said, well, what is it? He said, it's vodka. So I said, all right. And I think he had orange juice. And I said, sure, I'll take a drink, So he pulled over and he made me a drink. And then we started back on the road. And then he asked me if I wanted to smoke some marijuana. I said, no, my hands swell, my feet swell, my heart beats a mile a minute. I can't stand it, but if you smoke it, that's your business. And he said, well, then you don't mind. I said, it's your car. I don't care what you do. It's up to you.
What's up? Hello, expert. How you doing? Well, I don't know that this is gonna get it. You just ate a pickle, then you felt weird because you thought about Pickle Rick. I don't know that this testimony is gonna make you feel any better because it's quite unbelievable. To say it nicely, just smeared off. Smeared off. It's her what'd she say? Tranquilizer. I don't know. She met Richard Mallory in 1989. I didn't think she unalived him until 1991. How many times she meet this man before she just was like, I've had enough? Oh, expert. Let me just put it to you this way. It rained inside my house. It's all better now, but it rained inside my house. It's all good. How is everyone feeling at your end, your house? When did I become the popular chat? I Flash fan. I don't know. Probably last week when you guys were talking about lady parts. Ew. Water's the worst. It's the worst. It causes so much damage, especially if you don't find it. I found mine right away because I could hear it pouring out. So I found it right away. All right. I will never ignore you, Flash fan. Ever, ever. You just continue being you. All right, let's see how this. Yeah. You don't understand those parts. You barely understand your parts. Well, I can't help you. Yes, lady parts. That's saying it nicely. You guys were just teaching me all sorts of things, and it was hilarious. But you guys generally do teach me a lot of things. I think sausage wallet was my favorite one. And I probably just got myself demonetized. That's all right. That's okay. It'll be all right. Oh yes, Hot Pocket was good. There were so many. That's what I said. What? But that was one of the sausage wallets was one of the new names I learned. Oh, I know I did. It's okay. It's okay, Blush. It's all right. Yes, it was a real sausage party. Say no to the Alabama Hot Pocket. There's so much to unpack right there. I won't. That I won't. You like some. See, it takes 2 seconds for this just to go shing. It is. You are right. Kelly, you are so correct. This is an educational channel. That's right. We talk crime, lady parts, sausages, which then made me think of sausages for the dog commercial, and that was going through my head all last stream too, of sausages. Ah, Gabby. Does Alabama have crabs or do they have crawdads? Oh my gosh. You can't. Hey, Daddy Short Nuts, how are you? You're trying to quit double entendre, but it's really hard. Oh. Yes, educational. Flashman, you have to admit, we have educated you on some things. Things we maybe shouldn't have, but we've educated you. Nobody wants an Alabama Hot Pocket? Aw. Poor Alabama. Not in the bajingo. I don't. Horse divers are a classification of food you enjoy. Expert, I don't know exactly what that means, and I don't know that I want to. I will. Yeah, I'll keep that in my own mind and try to dissect it. Yes, Flashbang. I'm sorry. My apologies for educating you. Hope you brought your notebook. There might be a quiz later. Howard Devour. Are you trying? Wait, is horse divers an autocorrect? I'm confused, but that doesn't take much. All I know is I was hors d'oeuvres, hors d'oeuvres. What? Hors d'oeuvres. I will never look at them again without thinking that right there. I bet Gabby. That is so funny. I'm sorry. I know. Oh my gosh. Anytime anybody says, "Would you like any hors d'oeuvres?" I'm gonna be like, "I don't want a hors d'oeuvres. Get those hors d'oeuvres away from me. I don't want horse divers either." You're corrupt. Oh, Zach. Zach's going to appear now. Oh my goodness. So she was 35. Remember when we did the math when she said 250,000 men? And we were like, dang. And she was only 35, so I'm going to still say no. Maybe she came close, but no, I'm going to say no. 3 to 8 a day, man, that's still a lot. Zach is Zach is probably already there trying to think of something clever to say. Bring it on, Zach. I ain't scared. She's the Wilt Chamberlain of serial unalivers. Good one. Okay, good night. Thanks for stopping by. Get some sleep, get some rest. Your hours and my hours, I think are flip-flopped. Aileen was definitely serving up some hors d'oeuvres. Maybe she was a horse diver. All right, I'm going to stop now. You too, expert. We will chat soon. Zach's in Croatia? No, he's not. Flash fan.
And he said, okay, so he's smoking marijuana and going down the road. And then he asked me what I did. And I told him I'm into pressure cleaning. And I asked him what he did. He said,
For reals, he's in Croatia? Why would he be in Croatia? No, he lives in Tennessee. Croatia? Where did you get that? Oh, Flashman, you're hilarious. The devil's lettuce. Watch out for it, Flashman.
he had a video store that he owned, and that he was on his way to Daytona. He was telling me about his video store. He was on his way to Daytona to see some topless bars, and if I knew any girls out there that'd be interested in pornography films, that he'd give $2,000 to $3,000 an hour for these sessions. And I told him I don't know anybody. I'm into pressure cleaning, and I only got one girlfriend that I know, and I know she wouldn't be interested, so sorry, I can't help you there. And so we just talked about anything, politics, religion. We talked about his store a lot. And still on the sex part now and then, but I told him I don't know anybody, constantly on that stuff. Finally arrived in Orlando, and he asked me if I wanted any beer instead of the mixed drink, because I had told him that I don't drink mixed drinks that much, and that I haven't had a mixed drink in about 10 years, it seems.
Had you had any other alcohol that day?
Yes,
You got in the car with him?
I drank beer in Fort Myers. I just came out of the office pub on my way back to Daytona. See, I had made around $300, and I only had about 250 or 60 left. I didn't want to blow it because I had to get back and get that apartment. Okay.
So what did you do once you got to Orlando?
Okay, so when I got to Orlando, he went ahead and he bought a 6-pack for me. I think it was Busch. He asked me if I want a pack of cigarettes. I said, no, thank you. I've got some already. And then he just got a little more gas, and we went down the road. We got past Orlando, and we had to stop, go to the bathroom. So we got out and went to the bathroom. Then I got back in. He was talking about his wife or his ex-wife. I don't remember if he was married or not married or nothing, but he was talking about having problems with this lady. He was worried about losing his video store, and he was losing his business. He's going to lose his house. He's going to lose his car. He's going to lose everything. And I don't know if he was married or not.
Okay. Did you proposition him?
No,
Why not?
because I was too exhausted and everything. I had enough money, and I just wanted to get home. All I wanted to do was get home. That's all I cared about.
Okay.
It was late. It was about 11:30 when he picked me up
Okay.
at night.
So tell us what happened next.
Okay, so anyway, then we stopped, went to the bathroom. Then he kept asking me, he said, well, how come you understand married people so well? And I said, well, because I always talk to a lot of married people. He said, but I just can't, man, you're just like a psychologist or a counselor. I mean, you're a good listener, and you also give good advice. I said, well, thank you, So then he said, do you mind if we just kind of stop somewhere and talk for a little while? I'd like to, listen to your advice and stuff. You're helping me and stuff. And I said, well, I really want to get home. I'm really tired and everything. And I've been hitchhiking for so long. And he said, well, I mean, let's just go talk for an hour or something. I mean, I'll take you home. And I said, well, it is getting pretty late. If I go home, the dog's I don't have a key on me. If I go home, the dog's going to start barking. The manager lives right next door, and I'm going to have to wake up Ty in the middle of the night. She has to go to work early in the morning. Casa Del Mar, she was still working. So I said, well, I guess I wouldn't mind stopping and talking to you, because I've got to pass a little time anyway. I'm going to have to wait till in the morning. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might even have to, get a motel or something. I don't know what I'm going to do, because it's too late for me I don't want Maggie to wake up the manager, because he's already in the mood to kick us out. Okay. So then he said, well, okay, I'll give you a lift home. I said, well, great, then that's going to save me on taxi money too. So he said, all right. He said, well, where do you live around? I said, well, you got to get off at US 1 and then you go to Granada. You take Granada over to A1A and then you go north. And I live at the Ocean Shores, I think it was called, motel.
Didn't she just say she couldn't go home because the dog was going to wake up the manager and the manager's already ready to kick him out, and Ty, who doesn't work, had to go to work? But now he's talking about taking her home. Huh. It is not a 7-day testimony, Flash fan. It's just going to feel like it's 7 days. There's probably some truth to that, actually, Haley. But I don't think she gave great advice. If she gave great advice, she didn't listen to her own advice, which I guess we're all probably guilty of. No, Bri, you do not remember that one at all. You erase that from your memory right now. And she did include every road and route along the way. It's so weird. I know. I try. I fail a lot, but I do try. Mostly because I've given my kids advice, and then when they hand it back to me, I'm like, gosh dang it. That's no fun when your kids give you your own advice back. You're like, okay. You can't argue. All right, let's see if she goes home. I don't think she does. Maybe not. I have no idea.
So then we continued. We decided, okay, I'd stop. So he got off of I-4 to 95, went north, got to US 1, got off, and he parked at a gas station.
How long had it taken you to get to that point from when he first picked you up? You know?
It was about 2.5 hours from
Okay.
Daytona.
Yeah, from when he first picked you up until you got to this place where he stops to get gas, at a
Yeah.
gas station, I guess.
I'd say 2.5 hours.
Okay. All right, so what happened after you stopped that time?
Okay, so then he said, well, where can we park? And I said, well, anywhere, this is fine. You can park right there if you want to. And he said, no, I'm smoking pot and I don't want to get busted. And plus we got all this booze and stuff and, a patrol car comes by. And I said, well, if you go north up here, there's a whole lot of places there's up here. And there's even Quail Run. They've got like a subdivision up there and it's out near Vanilla, and it's really quiet up there if you want to go there. So he said, okay, let's go and check that place out. So we went over there and we're sitting there talking, and we talked for at least, I'd say, an hour and a half, 2 hours, just talking about everything. He still asked me about the pronos and all that stuff, and I said, no.
Were you drinking?
Yes, I was drinking beer, he was drinking his mixed drinks, and he was still smoking his pot. I couldn't believe he was smoking so much pot. I even asked him what kind it was eventually, and he said Sensimilli, and I've heard Sensimilli some heavy pot, so I couldn't believe it. But he was handling it. He was doing all right. And so then...
What is heavy pot? I really don't know. What the heck does that mean? Sons of Millie? I don't know. What does heavy pot mean? Absolutely. She's trying very hard. She's not going to be exonerated like Lori Vallow, who is also not going to be exonerated. High potency. Okay. I'm sorry, don't know that much about it. You could tell me, but not on here. Well, I can always count on you guys. Just like Flashbang can always count on us. Cast iron, they're very heavy pots. Well, I have some of those downstairs. So your friends say, yeah, you're dying.
we were talking away and everything. And, oh, okay, so he asked me, how come if you know married people, you're so good at counseling and everything, if you know married people so well, you told me you're single and you have a roommate, how can you know so many married people? So then I finally told him, I said, I guess I'm going to have to explain to you, Richard, because you're being so honest with me and I'm going to be honest with you. I said, I'm a hooker. I hustle for a living. And he said, hustle, you mean a sex? And I said, yeah, it's a sex. Okay. So then he said, well, God, I thought we were going to get it on. I mean, eventually get it on together, but you don't do it free. You probably, you do it for money, right? I said, that's right. I do it for money. He said, so you don't do it for free, right? I said, no, I don't. This is my job. This is what I do for a living.
Okay, so what would you do next after you had that conversation with him?
Then he asked me how much I charged, and I said 30 for head, 35 straight, 40 for half and half, 100 an hour. And he said, and I said, well, 100 an hour, I don't usually, make the person, well, after an hour's up, I don't say, well, you got to give me another $100. If the guy's all right, I'm just staying with him, we become friends. I just, thanks a lot, because I only want enough for rent and whatever. I don't care about, I'm not greedy. I don't care about making any more. 100's fine. It's good enough for rent. That's cool. They're now my friends. They're now another client. And so that's what I told him. And he said, so you mean tell me if I gave you $100, we could spend a couple hours together? And I said, I guess so. I've been with you all this time. And plus I've got to wait for dawn to come because I can't get home. And he said, all right, well, that sounds okay with me. He said, where's another place to go? Because we can't go here. I mean, it's wide open and everything. I said, well, if we go back near the gas stations, there's a campground there, and there's some little places that kind of pull off in the road if you want to go there. He said, okay. So we started cruising down there. And he fixed another drink, and he's smoking another pot. I mean, and he had this pipe that went into the marijuana, and it just twisted, and then I don't know what it's called, but that's what he was doing. I couldn't believe how much he smoked. And I grabbed another beer, and I told him, I said, oh my God, I forgot to tell you, I use rubbers, it's mandatory. And he said, I said, we might have to stop at the gas station and get some rubbers because I don't have any. He said, no, I got some. I said, oh, okay, that's good. So we started down the road, and finally we got to the area. We couldn't see into the trail. So he asked me to get a flashlight out of the glove box. And so I got a flashlight out of the glove box, and I'm looking around. We finally saw the trail. We went in. You couldn't go too far in at all. We were real close to the road, and cars were going by, and you could see. So he took a smaller, tinier flashlight out of the glove box and put it on the dash. So they wouldn't see the dome light because we were pretty close to the road.
We haven't got to that part yet, Baker. How are you? We've not got there yet. She's getting there close. She did rattle off her menu, as Daddy Shortnuts put it. I couldn't catch it, and I wasn't going back to hear it. $100 an hour. What was it? 44 for half and half? And 35. It was 35. I can't say it. 44 for half and half and $100 an hour. I think she rattled them off pretty fast. Yes, we're still on the hordivores. You missed the expert, Baker, trying to spell hors d'oeuvres, and it was coming out horse divers, hordivores. It was hilarious. Well, Baker reminded us. But she wasn't greedy. No, she wasn't greedy. She just wanted rent money. Handy or mouth hug? I don't know. I was thinking 35 for a mouth hug. Maybe. Not me personally was not thinking that. I think that's what she said. Let's be clear there. I told you I told you, Flashman, you were going to summon Zach. Hello, Zach. 25 is 25. She was very versatile. Well, Haley, I don't I don't know. I have no idea. Sorry, I don't have a menu. That's my fault. Zach. Oh, Taya, we just have to be careful. And see, Baker came in and saved me because I did not know how to say that. Mouth hug is perfect. It's perfect. All right, well, let's proceed down this road of I don't know what it is. She Pry. She should have limited her menu. You can't do everything perfectly. Don't tell her that. He did not, Flashman. Like a BOGO, Daddy Short Nuts. Buy one, get one. uh, what? It's from the Sergeant Dom case. She gave underwater mouth hugs and passed away once or twice doing them. Well, that's her fault. Fellatio, I guess. I don't know. Well, I just said it, so if I disappear, you guys know why. Yeah, Zach, we thought you were in Croatia for a minute, but then Flashman said expert was in Croatia. Then we realized no one is in Croatia. Unless you're in Croatia, Tennessee. All right, I think we're getting to the good part. I think. I don't know.
And then he said, well, I got an idea. How about if we both do this now, we both get undressed so I know that you won't skip out on my money. And I said, well, Richard, I've never rolled a client in my life. I've never skipped out on anybody, but I can understand, I think, what you're saying, because I told you I use rubbers, and I ain't going to do it without any rubbers with anybody. I don't care. No exception to the rule, and I'm precautious, so I guess you're being precautious too. So, okay, that sounds fine with me.
Is that unusual for you to take off all of your clothes first?
No, because I used to do it all the time to let my clients know that I wasn't going to leave on them or anything, So I was being honest with them. Hey, I'm all right. I'm a good, I'm cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? Did you take your clothes off? After you had that conversation with him?
Well, he told me he had to go back and get some rubbers out of the trunk. He said, don't worry, I'm going to go get some rubbers out of the trunk. I'm going to go get a sleeping bag and a yellow blanket. Eventually it was yellow, a blanket. And he was going to put it in the front seat so he wouldn't get anything on the car seat. And so then he came back. Oh, well, wait a minute. I was undressing then. And I took my bag, I put it over near the hump here, and I started to take off my jeans and stuff. And by the time I was starting to take off my jeans and everything, he came back. I was half undressed, and I was putting my stuff in the back seat. And then I said to him, I helped to rearrange the sleeping bag and everything on the seat, and went and took a leak and everything. And then I said to him, well, this ain't fair. I said, we agreed.
She just said she went and took a leak. I've never heard a woman say that. That's a man thing. Women don't take leaks. Rubbers in the trunk, I think she's telling a lie. No. I know what it means, but flashbang. Strangers. I am now, Haley. Thank you so much. My gosh. Ah, Baker. Yeah. Ew. Hey, what's up, Puddletown? I hate to break the news to you today, Puddletown. Your court reporter is not here today. It's a man, so sorry. Yeah, a woman taking a leak. Nope. I'm sorry, Puddletown. But it's a dude. They are. Ugh, gross. Water sports must have been on the dessert menu. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm in play.
We found both of us get nude. I'm the only one nude. And he turned down the dome light and he said, not bad. And I said, well, I don't know, because I've got a lot of stretch marks in the beer belly and everything. And I think otherwise sometimes. And then he had this kind of smirk on his face and he said, you'll do, and turns off the dome light.
Was he mad?
Huh?
Was he mad at you for asking him to take his clothes off?
Yeah, I didn't ask him to take his, I haven't asked him yet. I'm starting to now, but
Okay,
I haven't even asked him yet.
okay,
And that's the next thing I asked him.
okay.
I said, well, Richard, why don't you take off your clothes and let's get started because it's cold in here, because it was really cold outside. And he rolled down his window and he said, yeah, it is cold. I love cold weather. And all this wind, because it was windy out, all this wind's blowing in. So I said, hey, Richard, why don't you close the window, man? It's cold, man. And so he's ignoring me and he said, he started acting like he was unbuckling his pants and unzipping his pants. And he said, what if I told you I don't have enough money? And like, I'm telling you, I don't really care. I was just doing this I was really just doing this to pass time, but I wasn't going to do it for free. I got to definitely have to make something out of it because I've got somebody at home I can get my sex from if I need it. And you know what I'm saying. Okay. So anyways, I said, how much have you got? And he said, I've only got a little for breakfast and some for gas. And I said, Richard, I said, no way. I said, I'm not here for my health. I said, we made an agreement. And I'm sorry, but I guess we're going to have to just call this off, because he's acting like he don't have any money. So I turned around and I had my clothes on top of some boxes or something that were in the back, something there. I can't remember exactly, but they were on something. And I started to grab them. And as I started to grab my clothes, I saw him coming toward me. And I was going to turn to look at him. And before I even got a chance to turn and look at him, he whipped a cord around my neck and pulled me toward him.
Okay. Had you told him at that point, I'm not going to have sex with you? Had you said no?
Yes, I told him no way. I said, I'm not here for my health, no way. We're going to have to call this off then.
Okay. Tell us what happened after you felt the cord around your neck.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm really nervous and I'm really getting pretty shy and embarrassed and this is hard for me, so just bear with me. He put the cord around my neck and he said, yes, you are, bitch. He said, you're going to do everything I tell you to do. And if you don't, I'll kill you right now and I'll fuck you after. Just like the other sluts I've done. And then he said, it doesn't matter to me. Your body will still be warm for my huge cock. And he said, he was choking me and I was holding it like this. And he said, "Do you want to die, slut?" And I just nodded no. And then he said, "Are you gonna listen to everything I've got to say? Have you do?" And I just nodded yes. And he told me to lay down on the car seat. So when he told me to lay down, he told me to give me my hands. And so I gave him I had to lift up my hands like this, and he tied my hands and he tied me to the steering wheel.
Okay, but where is he in relation to you at this point?
He's sitting in the driver's seat.
Is he behind you?
I'm laid down like this with my feet near the window.
Okay.
And
Okay. And then what happened?
then he got out of the car. He told me to slide up and get comfortable because he's going to see how much meat he can pound in my ass. So he walked around from the driver's seat to the passenger side and opened the door. He started to undress. And he's thrown his clothes on the floor. And this is very embarrassing for me. So he got in, and then he lifted my legs all the way up where my feet are near the window.
Okay, what happened next?
Then he began to start having anal sex. Okay. And he's doing this very violent movement. And then I don't know if he came or what, climaxed. I talk street talk, so I don't know if he did that. And he violently took himself out and violently put himself in my vagina.
Were you saying anything to him at that point?
No, I was crying my brains out.
Was he saying anything to you?
Yes, he was saying that he loved to hear the pain when I moaned, and he loved to hear my crying, and it turned him on.
Okay, then what happened?
Then he pretty much bruised like my cervix and all and everything else. He got off. He had bruised my ribs and everything else. And he got off. Then he got up, took his clothes, walked over to the driver's side. And then so he put his clothes on the hood of the car. He had the door open. Now, went and got the ignition out of the car, went into the trunk and got something out of the trunk. And he brought it back, and it was a red cooler and a blue tote bag. So, anyway, in this red cooler was 2-liter bottles. I think they were Pepsi. I don't know, but they were 2 big bottles full of water, I think. The tote bag had a maroon large towel, something like a white or yellow towel. I was turning my head to see what he was doing when I was tied to the steering wheel, and it was straining my neck, so sometimes I had to put my head back down because I couldn't turn it all the way to see what he was doing. And at one time I asked him, I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm full of surprises, honey, for you tonight." And I turned my head, kept watching, and the dome light was on, so this is how I saw what was coming out of the bag. And then there was bar soap, toothbrush, rubbing alcohol, and a bottle of Visine. So then he took the bottle of rubbing alcohol and the bottle of Visine, he put it in front of my face, and he said, "This is what this is." And I'm like, "What?" You know, and he takes the Visine bottle and he puts it on the front of the dash, and he takes the rubbing alcohol and puts it with his other stuff. And this guy begins to take a bath because he had blood all over his penis. And with some other jazz, which I don't think I should say.
Okay. By taking a bath, do you mean he was cleaning himself?
He began to take a bath using this water in the bottle. He put rubbing alcohol, I guess. I don't know if it was rubbing alcohol or what, but later he just poured it all over himself, and he was saying that the last sluts he had, he thought were full of diseases, and he always had to clean himself.
Okay, well, what happened next?
Okay. So he's cleaned himself.
Baker, I don't know what this channel is right at the moment, and I am like sitting here trying to not just sink in my chair because for whatever reason, her testimony is embarrassing me. And it's weird. And Kelly, yes, good choice of words there. Cross is gonna cream her. Oh, that's funny.
Blowing me away. And I said to myself, I think this guy is going to kill me. He's going to get rid of me. Or I don't know what he's going to do, dissect me or something. I don't know what he's got in this bag. Like, he's strange. He is totally weird. So he gets everything, he gets done cleaning. He puts his clothes back on. He gets the cooler, brings it back to the trunk, puts everything in the tote bag, leaves it there. He goes around the passenger side. He grabs a bottle of Visine from the dashboard. He goes around the passenger side.
Oh, those of you that are saying hello now, sorry. Yes, Carmen, you came in at a weird time. You might want to go take a shower. It's kind of gross. Hey, Jess, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sorry about today's stream. Yeah, just a little of that, a little bit of this and that, you know. Yikes. You're just going to go back to bed. Well, sorry if we give you nightmares. Yes. Carmen, get out. Your young ears are too innocent for pooping. I think mine are. My ears are too innocent. I don't know why. I was like, maybe I'll start wearing sunglasses like the expert. Good idea, Haley. This is like making me, it's making me uncomfortable. It's kind of weird, but okay. I'm ruining people's appetites. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. You were quietly lurking on this good Christian stream. Oh, Zach, it was tainted long before Baker came along. All right, let's do it.
And he says, "This is one of my surprises." Oh, Lord, my ears are ringing. And I'm dizzy a little.
Put your head down for a second, we can wait.
Okay. All right, so he takes the Visine and he lifts up my legs and he puts what turns out to be rubbing alcohol in the Visine bottle, and he sticks some up my rectum area. And that really hurt really bad because he tore me up for a while. And then put some in my vagina, which really hurt bad. And then he walked around back to driver's seat side, and he pulled my nose open like this. Pulled them open, and he squirt rubbing alcohol down my nose. And he said, "I'm saving your eyes for the grand finale." And he put the Visine back on the dash. And I was really pissed. I didn't care. I was yelling at him and everything else. He was laughing away, saying, "That's what I want to hear. I love it when you start crying and all that pain." So then he put it there, and there was a few more items on the car. He put it back in the tote bag. Then he put the tote bag back in the trunk. Closed the trunk. Came back, he had this gray radio, a square gray radio, with 2 speakers on it. Went into the back of the seat, got the gray radio. Then went around the passenger side, made a drink, because he couldn't get through with me tied to the steering wheel. And then he walked back to the driver's side and went underneath the seat and got his marijuana, got his cigarettes off the dash, and I guess he walked over to the front of the car because I couldn't see where he was. And I felt the car move, and he's just sitting there, and he cranks up the radio. The window is still open in the car. I'm freezing to death. And so he's just sitting out there listening to the radio, and I'm thinking this guy is thinking how he's going to kill me. So I'm trying desperately to get off untied from the steering wheel. I tried 101 times, and he even said, "I can feel you moving in there. Don't worry, you ain't going to get untied unless I untie you." I didn't care. I kept trying and kept moving my body up like this and pulling and pulling. So finally he came back after about an hour. It must have been an hour or so. It seemed like the longest time. And he said, "Finally the cold weather got to me. Do you believe it? I'm getting in." So I'm thinking, how is he going to get in? I'm here, tied to the steering wheel. How can he get in? And he said, "I'm going to untie you from the steering wheel. You better be a good girl. I'll kill you." He said, so he untied me from the steering wheel. He untied me and put the rope around my neck and held it like a leash around my neck. He told me to move over so he could move in. So he moved over. I moved over. And he moved in. And then closed the door. And he's still saying all kinds of jazz about what he wants to do. I said, so then he told me to turn toward him, lay down, and spread my legs. He has all of his clothes on. I guess he's just going to unsip himself. I don't know.
Were you saying anything to him, Lee?
I didn't say nothing. I was scared.
Okay, so then what happened?
I may have said something sardonic to him, like, "Why you still got your clothes on? Why don't you take your clothes off like you did before?" Something. I don't know. I don't recall. I may have. I don't know. Maybe. It's too long ago. It took me long. It was hard enough for me to remember these blackouts because this is a blackout situation that I had to remember. So I don't recall every incident, every word and all that. That's hard for me to remember. I'm trying to heart my best to even remember everything he did say.
Okay, just tell us what you do remember. What
Okay,
happened
good. Okay, so yeah, he had me turn and he wanted to start having sex with me. And he had the rope, not the rope, I later learned it was jacks to a stereo, but it was cut. Where there's only one jack. That's how I found out it was jacks to a stereo or something, or TV or something. It was round, gray. So he was holding me like this, like reins. That's when I said, I'm gonna grab this. I grabbed it, it came right out of his hand, I flung it in the back seat.
Did you say to him, I'm gonna grab this, or
No, my mind.
Okay.
I said, grab it now, do something, you gotta fight. I thought to myself, I gotta fight, I'm gonna die. This guy is gonna play with me, and then he's gonna kill me. He's already said he's gonna kill me. He's already said he killed other girls. I gotta fight. I just gotta fight for my life. Plus, now, I was close to the area where my bag was, where my gun was.
Okay, where was your bag?
My bag was near the hump because I had first had it in the right side, but I had to move it because it was in the way for me to get my jeans off. And so I kind of moved it almost on the hump. Actually, it was almost on the hump. I pushed it all the way over so I could get room to move and change.
Okay, so what happened next?
So then, I grabbed it, flung it. Yeah, he takes his left arm, he choking me, and I grabbed he just grabbed me like this, and I grabbed my hand up like this and kept it away. He slapped me really hard in the face, and he started choking me, but I grabbed his right arm, yes, and I kept it up, and I would get upward with my feet, and I pushed him back, and he kind of quit struggling and just got up on his knees and said, "You're going to be a lot of fun." While he was saying that, I jumped up real fast and I spit in his face. And he said, "You're dead, bitch, you're dead." And he's wiping his eyes. And I laid down real quick and I grabbed my bag. And he was starting to come for me when I grabbed my bag and whipped my pistol out toward him. And he was coming toward me with his right arm, I believe. And I shot immediately. And I think I shot twice, as fast as I could.
And then what'd you do?
Then he started coming at me again, and I shot. He stopped. I hurried, kind of pushed him away from me, and he kind of sat up on the driver's seat. I hurried, opened the passenger door, ran around the driver's side, opened the door real fast, looked at him, and he started to come out, and I said, "Don't come out. Don't come near me. I'll have to shoot you again," or something like that. "Don't make me have to shoot you again," or something like that. He just started coming at me and I shot, and I don't know where I shot him. I just shot him and he fell on the ground. And then I pulled him away from the car. You want to hear the rest? What happened?
What happened after you shot him the last time?
I stood there and looked at him and thought what I'm going to do with the car, and I said, I got to drag him away from the car because he's near the car. I'm going to run him over if I don't move him. So I dragged him away. I got back in the car totally nude. I went to reach for the keys and the ignition to start up. It wasn't there. So I ran back to him. I looked in his pockets for his keys, got his keys, went back to the car, started it up, backed up. Headlights, turned him on. I turned him on, looking at his body. I went back to him, checked his pulse. He was dead. I saw a carpet in front of him because of the headlights. I said, I don't want the birds to be picking at his body. So I grabbed the carpet and I put it over him. Jumped in the car backed out, took off nude, went back to Quail Run.
Lee, did you take anything else off of him when you went into his pockets other than the car keys?
No,
So you went back to Quail Run?
yes,
Why did you go back over to Quail Run?
because I was totally nude and I had to get dressed. And I also had to get my senses together. I was totally crying, shaking, totally scared out of my mind. And I had to change. I had to get on my clothes and everything. And then when I got there, I realized that I had a little bit of blood on me and stuff. So I went into the trunk and got out the stuff he took out. And I started cleaning myself like he did. And then I put my clothes back on. And then I took all the stuff that was in the car and threw it on the floorboard. And I took all my stuff and put it on the seat and just sat there wondering what to do, drinking a beer and thinking, what am I going to do? Just didn't know what I was going to do. And I said, I'm going to have to lay low. I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I can't get out. I'm going to have to drop this car off, whatever. When I saw the radar detector, I said, I'll keep it to pawn it off for food or whatever. I'm not going to be able to get out on the road now. I'm scared. They're going to find his body. I've got to go and hurry up and dump this car off.
What time is it by this time?
This is, I remember when I was throwing stuff out. I was throwing a bunch of stuff out in the woods. Just kept on throwing. So now in Quail Run, I drove to another area. I stopped again and I threw a bunch of stuff out in the woods. And I noticed his watch and I checked it. It was 6:30 in the morning.
When do you last remember in terms of time that he was alive?
I don't know how long. See, I didn't know what time it was. All I know is he was out there sitting in the car on the hood for about an hour, and I never got to know what time it was.
Okay. All right, so what did you do after that, after you noticed what time it was?
I said, I've got to hurry up and get back to Ty. I'm tired. I'm beat up. I'm hurting all over. My crotch hurts. My vagina hurts. My nose hurts. I'm freaking out. I've got to go take a shower. I mean, these are the things that are going through my mind, you know, as I'm sitting there. I got to hurry up and get rid of this car, go back home, take a shower, hurry up and get this car. I was going to take it to the car wash it, and go drop it off somewhere to get rid of all my prints. I'm so scared now because I just had to kill this guy.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do.
What did you do?
Well, I went back home. When I got home, my plan was to go to the car wash the car off and everything else and get rid of it. But when I got there, Maggie, my dog Maggie, and my cat Tyler, Maggie tore the chair all to shreds. She chews carpets too, and she chewed the carpet all to shreds, tore the curtains and the blinds all up. So when I knocked on the door and Ty opened the door for me and I saw this, I said, what is this? And she said, I don't know, Maggie and Tyler just got crazy. I was at work. I said, oh my God. And I just realized, you know, that I've got this guy's car. The man, we're supposed to move that day. It totally a coincidence that we were moving that day. We had 3 people that were going to move us around 5 o'clock after Ty got out. And I said, man, if the manager sees this, he's going to call the cops. He's going to have cops here. I've got the car here, everything. I've got to get rid of the car and everything. So I said, all the boxes everything was ready to move. And I said, let's move now. I've got a guy loaned me a car like that. I said to her, and I said, he's waiting at a motel. He's going to let us keep it for just a couple hours to move. I just said it like that. And I told her to call Jane and tell her we're coming over, just to hurry up and get out of that room because it was totally destroyed. And then she said, what are those hickeys on your neck? And I said, what are you talking about? And so I walked into the bathroom and I looked and I said, oh, no, I must have slapped a mosquito real hard or something. I was trying to ignore it and she kept asking me. She said, I told you, don't you ever go out there with those hickeys on? I mean, get a hickey out there when you're out in the road. And I told her, they're not hickeys, don't worry. I just slapped a mosquito too hard or something. I don't know what it is. And then that was the end of that. And then we hurried up and got the stuff in, and we just left.
What did you finally do with Richard Mallory's car?
Okay, we got to the new apartment. I hurried up. We put our stuff in. Ty had to hurry up and go to work. I had to go right back to the motel. She had to pick up the moped. I think it was 12 speed. My 12 speed was there too. The moped and 12 speed were together. I decided.
I'm having a problem with that one, Daddy Shortnuts. A hickey, or if you had a rope around your neck, or a cord around your neck, like you said he had it, would that not have been the marks? She never said anything about him giving her hickeys. Ugh. She charged she charged the mosquito $10. What if he wanted half and half? 15? Ugh. So gross. Well, she also, the state's gonna just have a field day with her. Because she said, did you take anything else out of his pockets? Well, she says no. But wasn't her license in Tyria or whatever her name was? Her license was found in his wallet. They had his wallet. I don't know. That she just, you can see now why her attorneys did not want her to testify. AKA Elmer Palmer. Oh, that just, I have never had one of those because lemonade and iced tea just does not sound like it'd be good together. Yeah, just, did you take anything? Yeah, just all his money. Oh, his life. Remember? Took that too. I don't know. This is bad. This is like some of the worst testimony I've ever heard. Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was trying to remember back to some of the things that they said they found and where she said they came from, because her, like Kelly said, her story has changed. Or I don't know if it's Kelly or Haley. Her story, she's never told the same story twice. It's constantly changing. I don't want to. She took his self-respect. Well, I can tell you, I read a little about Richard Mallory, and obviously he's not alive, but he was not a good guy. And it makes you wonder if he did, in fact, do some of the things that she said, because he was not a good guy. He wasn't innocent. Not saying he deserved to lose his life, just saying he wasn't innocent. That's all I'm saying.
I put the 12 speed in the back of the trunk, and she took the moped, went to work. I went to the car wash, hurried up and washed the car, cleaned it out. Then I went down Johnny Anderson, went up to a place to park it, and I took the bicycle out, and I was going to ride home. And I was cleaning the car out and make sure about prints. I forgot the glove box, and that's where because I found his wallet underneath the seat, and I went through it to find out if he really was Richard or what his name was and that. And a bunch of credit cards and everything else. And I just threw it in the glove box, and as I was wiping down, I remember the glove, I opened up and I said, oh God, I forgot to throw this out. So I went in the back of the car, I dug a hole, and I put it there, and then I found this darn vodka bottle was underneath the seat, and a couple more glasses were underneath the seat that I didn't notice. So I took them out, put them on, so I started checking underneath the seat really good to get everything. And I was finding like pens, and I was finding little business cards and stuff, and I was just throwing them. I didn't really know what I was doing. When I got done burying the wallet glass and the vodka bottle and that and the glass and stuff. The stuff else, what I was finding in the car, I was just throwing. I didn't even, just throwing the stuff out, which, see, I didn't know what I was doing here. I was doing this to bury for prints to make sure my prints were on there. Then I was just throwing stuff out. So I didn't have.
Did you take anything out of Richard Mallory's wallet when you were going through it?
Well, he only had about $38 or 42 or 48, something like that. It wasn't very much money.
Did you take?
Yes.
Did you take any credit cards?
No.
What did you do after you finished throwing things into the woods?
And I got on my bicycle, I started riding and just threw the keys into somebody's yard or something. It was like a bush or something. I just threw them. And went back home. That's it. I just went home.
Lee, did you make it clear to men that picked you up that you would not have sex with them without money?
Well, I had two guys had sex with me without money once, and I didn't do anything to them, and I had my gun with me. They just never used a weapon on me. They never hurt me. They weren't really physical or anything on me. They just didn't want me to go unless they had sex. But basically, I told them, I don't do it without money.
Okay. May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that is the jury. The woman in the, what is that, fuchsia? Looks annoyed. This one up here, this one up close, just looks annoyed, as does this lady. Like, I don't know. I don't know, Fuddletown. Maybe she had a really good padded seat. Does the court reporter have a beard before she told the story? Don't remind Fuddletown that his dream lady's not there. Yeah. Right. I mean, how did Verdict Watch work in 1990? I don't know. Why is the pound sign English? Isn't that the English sign behind your 90? I don't know the answer to that, Flashman. All right, I think she's about done. So we'll just sit here and look at the jury in silence.
Lee, have you ever been convicted of a felony?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times?
One time.
Had you ever had anal sex prior to this time with Richard Mallory?
Never in my life. I always told my clients I don't do anything kinky, anything dirty or nasty. Always decent, clean.
When Mallory started getting violent with you, did you try to calm him down? Did you try to talk him
Objection, Your
down?
Honor, leading.
Rephrase your question.
Did you say anything to Mr. Mallory when he was trying to get violent with you?
I didn't, I couldn't. He was choking me so hard that the blood was running to my head and spots were before my eyes. I couldn't talk. All I could do was help. I was trying to get the court not to be.
Okay. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Stop talking. Well, that was horrible. I was thinking about doing the other one, but his cross is 2 hours, so we're not going to do that one today. We'll do that one on Wednesday. I cannot wait. Really. I mean, I'm not saying the woman's she's done. She's no longer on this earth. So I'm not trying to speak ill of the people that have passed away, but that was awful. Her attorneys did not want her to testify. You can now see why. That didn't get her anywhere. I know, I mean, if you're fighting for your life, what else do you do? You don't really have a choice. Yeah, I don't know why they showed the jury a lot. I mean, they showed them a lot. And maybe it is for reactions. Or non-reactions. Like I said, that lady in that fuchsia coat, whatever color that is, looked really not happy. We've the past 2 streams, we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Thanks, guys. It's yep. It's been fun to learn all the stuff that you guys have taught me. You guys teach me stuff all the time. We don't just teach Flashman. You guys teach me too. Well, maybe that was a new cameraman. You didn't know. Like, don't show the jury. What? Oops. And he didn't find out till like the very end when it was over. So he didn't know. He was just like, sorry. She wanted to testify because she knew she was going to lose anyway. I don't know if she thought she was going to lose. That's the thing about some of these people. I don't know that they really. Sorry, I'm trying to see who's live. Think they're going to lose. You're going to go give yourself a Visine shower. Ah. No, they are not. Nope. No. Flashbang. No. And no, Puddletown. Not that kind. You have to what? You have to Google some. Yes. I don't ever Google them. Sometimes I'm like, that's funny. Fry. Hey, I read what was in the transcript. That's it. I'm innocent. Beef injections. I'm well aware where I said it, Flashman. Thank you very much. Where's Beulah? I don't know. Right, I can't even put that on screen. It's probably okay. I can probably look and see that. It's okay. My stream will probably be in that yellow category anyway. It's whatever. It's whatever. I don't care. All right, so Wednesday, we will do cross-examination. Yeah, YouTube is going to be like, demonetized, limited. Bry. Gross. You're trying to figure out why Visine. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that guy was a huge devil's lettuce smoker, so I guess he had his Visine for that. She says she didn't do it, so she didn't need any Visine. But he said he was going to, he was saving her eyes, so he didn't put any Visine in her eyes. None of that made sense. I really hope he did not pour rubbing alcohol where she said he did, because that would hurt. Yeah. If he poured it on himself, who cares? But I hope he didn't pour it on her. If he did everything that she says he did, and he may have, I don't know. Not saying she's innocent because of it. Not saying she should have offed him because of it. Just saying. Yeah. Okay. Yours and mine, Zach. That would make her jump more. Yeah, true. But she just said that that cord was so tight around her neck that she saw spots. Would that, I mean, I'm not going to like do an experiment on it, but would that not leave marks that did not look like hickeys, or that you slapped a mosquito really hard? Visine was invented so people wouldn't know you had been swimming. Fun fact, I guess. Did not know that. All right, Flash fan. You can't make me do it. He was not good. At all. Also, you should see some of the things that are coming back up in my Google searches nowadays. It is, it's not fun. All right, so he was in 1989. Yeah, it was her first victim. Where is his information? He had been in trouble. Okay, we got through her stuff. He had been in trouble for not great things that you do to women. That's all. What? I'm going to follow Puddletown's advice of never Google anything in chat after that comment, Gabby. Although today, when I was driving to the grocery store, I saw a truck that like pumps out septic systems, and their number, the last four numbers, was spelled poo, P-O-O-O. And I was like, well, I hate that word, so I would never hire you just because of that. You should have put a P at the end of it. Let's see. So I'll share this with you. Just so you know, I'm not making stuff up. That song was written after a trip to Taco Bell. Sounds more like maybe you had Thai food. So, in 1992, Dateline NBC reporter Michelle Gillen discovered Mallory had served 10 years in prison for violent rape in another state. So, if that's true, he maybe did that because detectives had previously denied any evidence existed to corroborate Wuornos' claims of rape or a history of sexual crimes by Mallory. Had detectives searched federal crime records to check into the claims that Mallory was violent, they would have produced this history. However, the judge refused to allow this to be admitted in post-trial proceedings, and Wuornos was never given a retrial. So, no, Flashman, it's fine. I'm just saying he had a history there. So I don't know if what happened to her really happened the way she said that it did. But that didn't really give her, I mean, does not, I have to say, it does not give her excuse to unalive 7 people. I'm just saying there is a chance he had a history. They didn't look at it. They didn't check it out to even see if her story could be true or not. Obviously, it could have been true because he served 10 years for that same kind of thing. That's all I'm saying. But that doesn't explain the others, and I've not seen anything on that. So, yeah, you can't say it's self-defense for all of them. She maybe had a chance to say it was self-defense for him, but she left after she did it in self-defense. She leaves and then does everything that she can to get rid of the evidence of her being in that car. So she didn't go to the police. She didn't go try to get help. Like, she didn't do anything. She went and got rid of the evidence of her being in that car. Also doesn't look good. So I don't know. It's hard. She pled to the other ones. She either pled guilty or pleaded guilty or no contest to the other ones. And she even I don't remember if she pleaded guilty to Peter Sims, though she was not convicted or anything for him because they never found him. They never found his body, which is sad. But I'll leave you on a lighter note, but just give me a second to find it. Oh, come on. If I can't find it today. Oh, here it is. Maybe. So, this is the sketch that made Tyria Moore scared. You guys remember what she looked like? I don't think that looks like either one of them. I don't think that looks like Ty Moore. I don't think that looks like Aileen Wuornos. Maybe it's just me. Sketches are horrible. They're not good. Part chipmunk. Yeah. But Puddletown, do you think that I don't think Ty Moore was there at the unalivings. I think she knew something was up. So, but I mean, they gave her an immunity deal. So you you jumped when you looked at them. I don't see Ty Moore's face in that. I would not have looked at that and been like, wow, that looks like me if I was her. Or that looks like Aileen Wuornos. Or whatever her name is. Was. That there. That ends us on a lighter note than what we were. Let's see. Sorry to make you jump, Gabby. All right, I'm going to send you. It doesn't look like Christina Ricci. It most certainly does not. She is somebody that they made look very bad. All right, I'm going to send you So please go over and say hello. I'm going to send you over to Valhalla's goat channel. Freaking goats are cute. If you haven't watched them, you should watch them. So, but if you can at least just go say, hey, that I sent you there, I would appreciate it so very, very much. Flashman, good luck with that. Good luck with that. All right, guys. Oh, by the way, I had to use my spring opening because I was going to use that on Friday since it was, the day after the first day of spring. But I wasn't able to, there was rain in my basement. So I had to get that out. So you're going to get my spring outro today. I will see you guys all back here on Wednesday. We'll do cross-examination. I can't wait. Thank you guys all so much for being here. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And please say hello to Valhalla and his little teeny tiny, cute as ever, baby goats. And I will see you guys all later.
Oh, the sun shines piercing through, chasing clouds, the skies are blue. Laughter's drifting on the air. Spring begins so bright and fair. Tiny blossoms holding tight, burst like smiles to greet the light. Every moment feels brand new, fresh beginnings shining through.